we are constantly getting questions on what books should we buy, what versions, what this, what that. So tonight we're going to tell you exactly the things that you want to hear regarding research and studies for Tanakh learning. So sit tight. We'll be right back. Welcome to Tanakh Talk. I'm your host, William Hall, broadcasting live out of Kingsland, Texas, USA, with another episode of TNT, episode 74. Rabbi Stuart Federow from Houston, Texas, live here in the studio, almost as usual.
Yeah, I wish. I got to tell you, I actually thought about coming back from Dallas and going straight to you, but I need to be here too early tomorrow morning, so bear with that.
I hear you. It's going to happen one of these days, sooner or later. So don't.
Yeah, it'll happen again. I'm sure. Totally. Sooner than you think. You never know.
The good news is, by the time you actually do get here, I turned the mic down. Thank you. When you do get here, it's going to be very different than what you may have suspected. So, making
sure
a lot of changes. So, very excited about that.
Should be very, very cool.
Very, very cool for sure. All right, awesome. So, what we've got here is not failure to communicate. I got to turn some.
Actually, he was a Southerner. That was an English accent. What we have here is failure to communicate.
Yeah. Every time I think movies, I automatically default to Sean Connery. Sean Connery here. Yeah, it's just like you could have me quoting Pauly Shores off of like any movie or Eddie Murphy from Coming to America, and it would end up sounding like Sean Connery. It's just the way it is. So
Oklahoma.
What?
Yasmin is from Oklahoma?
Who?
On the chat.
I haven't seen the chat yet.
Yasmin, if you're listening, where in Oklahoma do you live?
Well, I live in Kingsland, actually, but it's okay.
Oklahoma, not Texas. I'm talking to Yasmin, not you.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
And the answer is...
I don't know. She hasn't responded yet. So, meanwhile.
Okay, I'm looking at the live stream now. So, okay, so I'm thinking. Okay, yes. Okay. Oh, Shalom in Oklahoma. Very good. Rabbi Federow, the stalker. William Allen, Shalom. Tomas Schaus. Good to see you. Books for Noahides. That's kind of what we're going to be discussing also tonight. Shmuel. Brother, I missed a call from you. I'm sorry. I couldn't catch the phone call. I was actually working in the shop. I'll talk to you soon.
Tulsa.
Tulsa.
Boy.
Take me back, Tulsa.
Colbert.
Okay.
Where?
Colbert, Oklahoma. Yasmin. Okay, got it. Very good.
Where is that? Is that near Oklahoma City?
Stefan is from New Jersey. Okay, so I have family in Oklahoma. They were more south towards the Red River.
I used to have them in Oklahoma City, but that's not why I'm asking.
Really?
I got a very good friend in Ada, Oklahoma.
I lived in Ada once. No
seriously?
Joke. I'm dead serious. I ran away from home in Ada, Oklahoma. That's not a joke. I was 16 years old, 15 maybe, and had an abusive situation going on. I ran away, went to the Ada hospital, called my uncle JT and Durant. He came all the way to get me. Yeah, it's a really crazy story. So yeah, I actually did live in Ada, Oklahoma for sure.
Wow. At any rate,
so
she is in Ada, and as someone coming out of Christianity a few years ago, she's feeling really alone. And boy, I would love to get a whole bunch of you together from Oklahoma.
Wow, no kidding. Dang.
Yeah, so, I wish there was like an international convention somewhere.
Well, you have to
be able to meet people, just to be able to talk to them face to face, put a face to a name,
Yep, for sure.
Wow, Sandra. Whoa.
Okay, so just to throw a teaser out there for you guys.
Yes.
So my memory is about as long as a very short black cat fuse. Okay, so I was so excited. We had a whole plan lined up for tonight. I had a plan lined up for tonight.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
We did. We planned to do what we're actually going to do.
Yes, I know, but that's not the point. So Rabbi Federow, in his really brilliant mind, reminded me of last week, and I
Yes,
man, really popped the balloon. But next week, not a joke. I keep looking at the wrong camera. Next week, no joke, the show is going to be called What Was I Thinking? And I'm saying this because I don't want to forget, and I want you, Rabbi Federow, to remind me of this. What was I thinking?
To remind you about what?
About next week's show.
What about next week's show? I have no idea what you're talking about.
The title of next week's show. all this without even a finger dance? Come on, man. Give me that at least.
There's no music. No music, no finger dance. You keep turning off the camera. I start dancing, and you turn off the camera. It goes to the regular ending. So, you know.
Dance. Okay, now. Okay, so next week the show is going to be called "What Was I Thinking?" And the reason for it, I hear stories all the time, and I've seen this one particular video that was actually very sad. There was a minister somewhere, maybe in Oklahoma, I have no idea, maybe Kentucky, I don't know, but there's a verse in the New Testament where it talks about you'll be stung by scorpions and spiders and snakes, and they won't affect you. Well, this guy took it literally, and he brought this rattlesnake, and he was carrying his rattlesnake in his hands, and the thing bites him on the ear. And the guy, basically starts bleeding, and by the end of the video, he says, cut the cameras. So the point being is, and this is for next week, if miracles are so profoundly truthful in Christianity, why are not people going to the hospitals? And why don't you hear things on the news about all these miraculous healings in the name of Jesus?
Right, they should go to the hospitals where they're really needed.
Right. Next week, that's where we're going. This week, we're going to be discussing...
You're going to the hospial?
Which one?
God forbid. You're going to the tent revivalist.
So, you're a crook. You're a joker. Okay. So, tonight we're discussing books, and I think it's very important. In fact, I think it's even more important than next week's topic because we've been getting these requests for quite some time. I'm literally, for the past 3 or 4 years, every week someone is sending me a message. Let me put you up full screen so you can see the whole essence. That's not full screen. Hold on. Where are you? Hold them up higher. Higher. To your left. To the left. To the left. Everything you own in a box to the left. Okay, so that's really great. You're a really good supporter of that. So, okay, Arthur, I saw your message on an email, and I will look into that for sure. I'm totally cool with that. The problem I'm having right now, Rabbi, you can put the books down now. Unless you don't want to. That's okay. So I know you and I were in tune with this, okay? So here's the thing. The problem
this is heavy. I'm going to only pick up one from now on.
The problem I'm having right now is schedule time. I have Sunday and Monday. That's what I've got to work with right now. Sunday, I've got a full schedule with just enough time in between shows to leave the studio and go to the restroom, grab a snack, and come back here again. Right. So I don't have time to incorporate. I've got one show slot, but I've got 2 other rabbis waiting for the right opportunity to jump on it. Everything else is filled right now. So I'm definitely considering it, though. I'm really okay with that as far as things go. I've reached out to the Emunah Project before, and that's very possible that could take place. So thank you for mentioning to me here on chat, Arthur. I appreciate that very much. So. Okay, now, so moving forward, Rabbi, I really want you to go into great detail on the books that you support.
Well, we're not going to even get to 90% of the books I support, but what they need to do is to go to my website.
Oh, got it.
And there's a list of 50 some odd books, all to help people understand Judaism and more accurately.
Okay, pulling that up now.
To help them understand how to respond to Christian missionaries.
Okay, so
comparative religion. The differences between Judaism and Christianity. Okay. And so tonight we're going to be doing a little bit of a bibliographical essay.
Where is the list of book of Jewish beliefs?
That's way too slow. There we go. Now you're cooking.
Okay, so tell me what to do, and I'll do it on my end.
Well, just scroll up. Whichever way you do it.
Oh, there we go. I see it. Let me zoom in more. Now that I've got a signal problem, I'm going to zoom in a lot more so you can see it. There we go. Now, give it about 15 seconds, you'll see what I'm doing.
No, I know, but in other words, I want them to be able to, it's a resource. It's nothing more than a resource, and we're showing different resources for people who can look these books up. I think if not every single one, I'd say 90% of them are on interlibrary loan. So even if you don't want to buy anything, you can go to your library and say, interlibrary loan, this is the book I want. And for most of them, I've given you the ISBN number, either the ISBN 10, which has 10 numbers, or the ISBN 13, which has 13 numbers to designate that book. Okay. Any other time I have any other book, any other number that'll help you locate the book, I've included it.
Oh,
okay.
Somebody said the music is on. No, it's not. Maybe they saw that earlier. Oh,
well, somebody asked what the name of that song is.
Oh, it's called Song 7. Sorry.
Oh, great. By whom?
That's all I've got. It's by the Israel IDF, the Israel Defense Forces.
Okay.
That's all I know. I don't know what the name of the song is. So
let me go back.
Okay, so for those of you people who are watching
with the book.
Okay, so for the people who are watching live, don't worry about the scroll speed. You can always go back and rewatch it and pause it frame by frame to write down what you want to write down. Okay, so don't worry about that.
And they can go to the website whatjewsbelieve.org. Go to the very bottom, very right of the screen, the first page, and you'll see the bibliography. You can click there and go to this multiple book listing.
Right.
And we'll get to it, but I also have a list in the back of my book.
Good.
Which is also...
wow, how many books do you have on here? Like 50 or so?
About, what?
How many books do you have on here?
Like 55.
Oh, wow, we're not even halfway through the list yet. Wow.
No,
okay, cool. Very nice.
So there are two sections. One is just Introduction to Judaism.
Okay, so
what we believe and why.
Okay, so what you guys are going to want to do is just you don't have to see the list up. I'm just did that for illustration purposes only. You can actually go and actually to the website whatjewsbelieve.org.
Right. Okay, now let's pretend like on number 25, William.
Yes.
Click on number 25.
Okay.
It should work. I can't guarantee that every URL works, but you click on the book, on the title of the book.
Oh yeah, that's it. That's it right there.
And if you click on the book, it should take you to the...
it did.
See, there we go. So...
Okay, very nice.
But for most of the books, click there and it'll take you to the Amazon location where you can find out more about that particular book.
Gotcha.
Okay. First book we need to discuss, of course, is this one right here. Okay.
Let's get... One of them's cut off, but it's still there. You're good.
All right. So
they think they're heavily funded. They're not. Tanakh Talk is not heavily funded. WhatJewsBelieve.org is not heavily funded. These
not funded at all, except by me.
Thank you. So your donations to Tanakh Talk, your donations to Rabbi Federow, to
no donations to me.
No. My point is
you because you need it.
No. I mean, the thing is, with Rabbi Tovia Singer, he works a lot, and a lot of people think that these people are wealthy because they have a website. That's not the case. So I mean, a lot of these things are self-funded. So when you go to like Rabbi, pardon me. When you do go to like Rabbi Tovia Singer's website, for example, outreachjudaism.org, if you go to free audio, if you click on that, my recommendation to you is this: if you can afford it, don't just download one at a time. Actually, make an offering. $5, $20, $1,000, whatever you want to do, whatever you have in your finances to go for, and then download the entire set at one time to some sort of a file, and you can carry that with you on your phone. I did that myself. I mean, even not having the money, I was like, I can at least give him like $20. So I actually went to his website. I donated $20 and I downloaded the entire file. And now I've got them all on my phone. I can listen to them anytime I want to, and I love it.
Exactly. And in conjunction with the books themselves,
yeah, it's absolutely amazing.
Unbeatable. Let me tell you something. Okay, the first time, no joke. The first time, seeing if I had gotten everything I wanted to remember to bring back from my synagogue, I would have brought these.
Right.
But the first time I heard the tapes, they were literally on a cassette tape.
Oh my, you are old.
There were like 20 tapes, and I had a cassette, like a boombox thing.
Yep.
And I drove all the way to my home in Springfield, Missouri from Houston with the boombox on my shoulder and driving with one hand because I couldn't hear it except if it was right next to my ear, with the road sounds.
I can't believe you just said boombox. That's hilarious. Wow.
But that's basically what it was.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But if you combine the book and listen to the tapes and go page by page by page using the tapes, it's unbeatable. You will learn more in that period of time about comparative religion, how to respond to Christian missionaries, why Christianity is wrong, how it's unbiblical. All these issues will be completely answered just by doing this. And you will know more than probably 65 to 75% of every Christian missionary you run into. Okay? And everything that they bring up is in the book on the tape, and combined the tape, the download, whatever you want, the audio is completely unbeatable.
I totally agree.
Nothing like it on the internet. But there's a lot of repetition, by the way. And my suggestion is, for whatever you can get a hold of, read, go through, and study. Because some people will have 5 pages on Isaiah 7:14, and some people have 2 pages, and you will pick up bits and pieces from every single thing you read that will help, pardon the expression, arm you even better.
Right, totally agreed. Absolutely.
Right, okay. So this is the Tobias Singer books, 2 volumes, and I would urge you to get the downloads to go with it.
So, oh my goodness, I've got a missing book. I've got a missing bookshelf here. Hang on one second. I got it here. What the snap? Oh, sorry, I'm blocking Rabbi Federow. Where did my books go? I took a bookshelf out of here. There's one book I think that everybody should own, and I'm sorry, I keep blocking the screen. Let me switch screens here so that I'm not blocking your face while I'm looking for things. Okay, there we go. That's better. Okay, so where is it? What did I do with it? Okay, so there's a book, and you guys need to, everybody, if you've not heard of the book or if you've not seen it, you definitely need to get this one particular book. It's called Leaving Jesus by James Wood Jr.
Oh,
it's
wait a minute.
Do you have it on? Please show it if you've got it.
I do have it, but I'm not sure I have it here.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
What did I do with all my books?
See.
That's okay.
Wait a minute. No, I'm not going to have it here. It's also at my synagogue.
That's okay. I do have it here. I just got to find it. What the?
All right. Sorry. But it's called Leaving Jesus.
Keep talking.
And it's by.
Keep talking.
It's by your friend and mine.
Yes. James Wood Jr.
And James Woods, and it's basically his autobiography, but it's also, in the context of what he tells you about his life and his history, it also gives you information about how to respond to Christian missionaries. What Judaism believes and why, and how it contrasts with Christian thought. Do you have it there?
Yep, I got it.
All right.
Found it. Hang on. Let me sit down. Okay, so. Yep, I've got it. So, and it's important for you to see it because it'll be easy for you to identify it whenever you do see it. So,
right.
This. Okay, so there it is right there. Let me switch screens here. Hang on. Okay, so this Leaving Jesus. Right.
Put it up.
I got it.
There we go.
Okay. James Wood
Okay.
Jr., right?
Now, by the way, every book we're going to refer to, even if we don't have them to show you, are real books.
Yeah, they're.
Again, I'm going to repeat this often. Interlibrary loan, you might be able to get a copy for absolutely nothing but the cost of being a member at your local library.
This is a great, great, great book right here, boss. Rabbi Stuart Federow. I don't know if you ever heard of the guy, but he's kind of a YouTube stalker, but.
Yeah. By the way,
love it.
By the way, it also has the bibliography in the back.
Nice. I like that.
Okay.
Yep.
So.
Okay, so I have not made my way through this, but I feel it's probably important to bring this up. 10 from the Nations, edited by Rivka Lambert. So I need to reach out to her. You have that too?
No, I don't have that one.
Okay, so that's a good book as well. Let's see.
Okay.
Okay, so James Tabor, Restoring the Abrahamic Faith.
Yes, but
thoughts.
I'm not convinced about Mr. Tabor. So
okay, that's okay. That's okay.
But look, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
And when he says the Abrahamic faith, what does that mean? Like a Christian take on Judaism, or what?
No, he's definitely not.
He's
definitely not Christian for sure.
Yes, I know.
At least
but
my opinion.
Very recently, doesn't matter. The point I'm making is that who is the person who is wise? Who's wise? It says in Pirkei Avot in the tractate in the Talmud.
Okay.
Who is wise? The person who can learn from everybody else.
Sure.
Okay, and there is something to be learned on this topic of how to respond to Christian missionaries, comparative religion, why we don't accept Jesus, however you want to word this. Okay, there's something to be learned from absolutely everybody. Okay, now I want to talk about two books. Okay, this one. Okay.
Got it.
It's called Judaism and Christianity, The Differences.
That's kind of like your book.
Interesting. Yeah, there's a reason for that.
Okay.
It's written by a woman named Trudy Weiss Rosmarin.
Got it.
Okay. This is a classic in the works. It was written in 1948. Okay. Only a few years after the end of World War II. Okay. And it is written as a response against this rising in 48 it was a rising concept called the Judeo-Christian tradition. And everybody was jumping on the bandwagon. We're alike, we're the same, everything's the same. You know, almost to use Sophie's line, almost like Judaism is just Christianity with no Jesus.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay, and Trudy Weiss Rosmarin was the prolific author, and she founded look, historically there was a intellectual journal, okay, called The Spectator.
Okay.
And it was intellectual writing. These were deep. These weren't simple, easy to read, fluff like People magazine or something. This was major works of modern criticism and philosophy, and often on religious topics, but not always. Political topics. Everything was fair game. And she started a magazine that was in operation for decades called The Jewish Spectator.
Right.
Okay. So a lot of people start writing this stuff about, Paula, Sophie, and I really don't know how to pronounce her last name. Sagai, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but Sophie is the one who's got the blog called Judaism is Not Christianity with No Jesus.
Right.
But everybody started writing stuff like that. I'm being nice with my verbs, with my words.
Sure.
They started writing stuff like that, BS like that, and she came out with a book that talked about the differences. And the topics that she discusses in this, remember this is 1948, okay? As I age, the more and more I need these. Okay? The Jewish and Christian idea of God, miracles, free will versus original sin and atonement, attitudes to asceticism, faith versus law, the interpretation of Judaism, and a whole chapter on Jesus. Okay? It's heavily written from explicitly a rabbinic perspective. Why do I say that? Okay. Everything she talks about in terms of what we believe and why believe, she's bringing passages from rabbinic writing. The problem with that, which is why I wrote my book differently, is that Christians don't give a darn about what the Talmud says.
Right. Unless they're trying to make a mark against someone like you and I to prove
right. Unless they're
Jesus.
Trying to
right.
say, oh,
right.
But look, everything we believe is found in rabbinic Judaism, so it's compatible. No, it's not. But that's what that's right. The only time they'll try to quote from rabbinic sources. So, in my opinion, personal opinion, others may disagree with me. In order to really respond to the efforts of Christian missionaries, you can't argue with them based on rabbinic writings. Sources. You have to argue based on the Bible.
Right.
And the Tanakh is called the Holy Writ by Christians, so they have to respect what it says. Okay, they're not going to be impressed with, the rabbis saying everybody dies for their own sin, but they have to respect Deuteronomy 24:16, where it says every man shall be put to death for his own sin, ish bechet o yumatu. Okay, so her book is excellent. It's brilliant, and it's 1948, so that tells you 70 years old this book is. Okay, Trudy Weiss-Roseman is someone I consider to be a teacher of mine because she came to my school and lectured a long time ago.
Wow.
Okay.
Right.
This book is 1976 original. Okay, it's called The Real Messiah by Rabbi Aryeh Kaplan. Okay, it was published by the National Conference of Synagogue Youth, which is the youth group for the Orthodox Jewish community, and it's published by the Union of Orthodox Jewish Congregations of America. They're the ones, here, let me show you. I don't know if you can see this on the back, but it's the U inside the O. You may recognize that as the
Heckscher.
Jewish seal of approval.
Right.
Okay, that's put on various foods by that organization. I don't know if you can see that.
Yep.
Okay, but the same people who put that on foods also helped publish this book, Union of Orthodox Jewish Congregations of America. And it was one of the earliest responses to Christian missionizing, and explicitly to the Christian organization called Jews for Jesus. Okay, another very valuable book. Look, a lot of what we're showing you tonight is repetitive. Okay, everybody's going to talk about Isaiah 53, but the approach each person makes towards Isaiah 53 will be that much more to use in your arsenal when trying to defend Judaism from the perversion of the interpretation by Christians. So every book that we're showing you, if you really want to get a good, solid background in responding to Christian missionaries, comparative religion, why Jews don't accept Jesus, etc., you need to start reading these books, okay? And listening to the tapes like we were talking about with Tovia Singer,
right? Okay?
All right, next book. Now, I'm going to show you two books that are the same book, okay? This is one. This was also written originally in the 1970s, published by Katav, okay? It is called The Jew and the Christian Missionary, A Jewish Response to Missionary Christianity. Gerald Siegel, okay, Gerald Siegel is the author of this book. It was one of the very first responses in the 70s, early 70s, to the efforts of Christian missionaries way back when.
Wow.
Okay? And again, just like a lot of literature, okay, 1981 is when this was printed. So it takes, as a matter of fact, I don't have it here. There's a book called, and here's the title, Faith Strengthened, Chizuk Emunah, Faith Strengthened. It's by a guy named Israel ben Abraham of Troki, or Israel from Troki. Troki is a city in, I believe, Eastern Europe. Actually, I think it was part of Italy, but I'd have to look it up. The point is that it was written in the 1500s, about the time that Martin Luther was living. The first 3/4 of the book is a defense of the Hebrew Scriptures against the Christian misinterpretations, where Christians will say, Isaiah 7:14, virgin birth, see, that's all about Jesus. So it's the Christian use of the Hebrew Scriptures and the Jewish response, why they're wrong in giving it their Christian twist, their Christian spin, their Christian misinterpretation. And it was translated into English by Moses Mokada in the 1800s. These issues are not new. Okay, these issues have been going on for centuries. Okay, we're going to, if we have time tonight, which we may not, we're going to get to some of the old stuff, but you'll find every one of these books listed in the bibliography, both on my website, whatjewsbelieve.org, as well as at the end of my book, Judaism and Christianity, A Contrast. Okay.
Right.
This is organized exactly the same way. This Jew and the Christian Missionary, A Jewish Response to Missionary Christianity by Gerald Siegel. Gerald Siegel has authored numerous books, okay, some of them in the last 10, 15 years, by the way. The first 2/3 of the book are the defense of the Jewish scriptures against Christian misinterpretation, and the last third of the book is a analysis of the Christian's New Testament and why it is, in fact, first of all, unbiblical, and second, how self-contradictory the New Testament is to each other. Okay, the four Gospels, how they don't agree with each other, and all these same kind of material. Okay, this book, Katav, the publishing company, they stopped publishing it. Okay, they also were the publishers of the Troki book, which is called Chizuk Emunah, Faith Strengthened, 1,200 Biblical Refutations to Missionary Christianity. That was a translation. You used to be able to find that at faithstrengthened.org. Faithstrengthened.org. I'm not sure it still exists. You may want to look that up real quick, William.
Faithstrengthened.org. I'm looking at it right now.
Okay. Now, this is his replacement book for the Katav book.
It's not there.
I didn't think so.
Yeah.
Okay, it may have switched somewhere else. Okay. Okay, I need to make sure this is on screen completely. Okay, The Jewish Response to Missionary Christianity: Why Jews Don't Believe in Jesus. Okay, this is another book. This book was the replacement for the one I just showed you, and it's also by Gerald Siegel. Okay, you see the wolf in sheep's clothing,
right?
Okay, and it's an expansion of his original book, which is the first 2/3 are going to be the Jewish defense against the misuse, misinterpretation of the Hebrew Scriptures, and the last third, give or take, is going to be an analysis of the Christian's New Testament, how it's unbiblical and how it doesn't agree with the Hebrew Scriptures and how it doesn't even agree with itself.
Right.
Okay, and it's not a thin book.
Right.
Okay.
Real quick, I'm going to chime in real fast.
Please.
Jake Turks, thank you, brother, for chiming in. Rabbi Yisrael Blumenthal and I are going to work on a schedule probably starting in January. He's got a project he's got to finish with Jews for Judaism, and I believe Rabbi Michael Skobac had told me a few things about it, but possibly...
He has recently become one of the educators for Jews for Judaism Canada.
He is a
prolific author and writer.
He's amazing. He's the one person right now who is standing against an unnamed missionary, which I won't give the time of day to mention his name, but we'll mention it during the show. So
right.
This is a missionary who is trying every way in his power to get his name out there. Therefore, I will not mention it. So may his name, until he repents, be blotted out, unless he repents. So
which is highly unlikely, because once a person starts down that road, they lose too much by admitting they now know the truth.
So, Jake, thank you for reaching out to me and connecting Rabbi Blumenthal with Tanakh. I really appreciate that. I'm looking forward to that very much. So, all right, Rabbi Federow.
Okay. Jews for Judaism has a PDF of Chizuk Emunah. Okay, so if you go to JewsForJudaism.org, you can get the entire revision of the first draft of Faith Strengthened by Isaac ben Abraham of Troki. Okay. Okay. And it's very well done. And again, it runs the same pattern as most counter-Christian missionary books, which is the first 2/3 are going to be the Christian misuse of the Hebrew Scriptures and the Jewish response, why their interpretation, a Christian spin, is not correct, why it's wrong, and with backup by other biblical verses, and it's the same pattern, same thing as usual. Okay, now, I forgot to mention this. Okay, the book. What did I do with it? Here it is. Okay, the book by R.E.A. Kaplan, which is called "The Real Messiah: A Jewish Response to Missionaries," which is by Rabbi R.E.A. Kaplan. May he rest in peace. This was one of the first responses to the missionaries in the 70s. This, I think, was 76, 70, I always forget, 76. Okay. It's also found in our Anthology 1, okay, the R.E.A. Kaplan Anthology, R.E.A. Kaplan Anthology number 1. This same book is found in its entirety as a section of the anthology. Okay, can you see the whole book?
Yes,
William?
Yes, I can. Sorry.
Okay, good. All right.
My mic was
so
down.
I forgot to say that earlier.
You're good.
Okay.
You're good.
All right. Tons of other books that we haven't even discussed. They're on my. Okay, fine. Historically, what we are doing isn't new. They've been doing it since the earliest stages of Christian thought. There's a gentleman, I use the term loosely, called Origen, okay, who was a writer in the 2nd or 3rd century.
Right.
I always get him mixed up with Justin Martyr. They invented a character. Justin Martyr wrote about a guy named Trypho. And basically, Trypho may or may not have existed, but by having arguments with this Jew named Trypho, it gave Christian readers of his book the way to respond to the Jews that they knew, because they would be saying the same thing. So Justin Martyr would write, well, Trypho said that Isaiah 53 is not really about the Messiah, and here's why he's wrong. But at least he would say something that the Jews of his day were really saying about why it wasn't about Jesus. So it's a historical document, but it also indicates that how old this argument is between Judaism and Christianity. Okay, Disputation and Dialogue, Readings in the Jewish-Christian Encounter by F.E. Talmage, another book that you need to write. Okay, Gospel Fictions, okay, Randall Helms, okay, right. I'm showing you all these. By the way, on my website, okay, let me go back to it, okay, there are a number of books by the gentleman we said earlier. Let me find him. Gerald Siegel. He's got a whole book on just Isaiah 53, Who is the Servant? Gerald Siegel has a book just on the Trinity, Trinity Doctrine Error, a Jewish Analysis. Okay, he's got a whole book on just the whole idea of blood atonement. It's called The Blood Atonement as Deception, How Christianity Distorted Biblical Atonement. Okay, he's got a book on anti-Judaism in the New Testament. He's got about 3 or 4 other books since those books were written. Gerald Siegel is a prolific author. Again, he is the original author of this book. You know, these 2 books, which we've talked about at length.
Right.
Okay. Okay. All right. Moving on. I know we're running out of time. Okay.
Actually, you're doing good. We got 20 minutes still.
All right. Well, I probably don't have enough books with me, but we're going to go to my website, and I can point out some of the books on the
okay.
Because I don't own them. All right. Or I left them at the synagogue. Okay. The Myth Maker, Chaim Maccabee or Chaim Maccabee, I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, was the chief librarian at the Leo Beck College in London, England, which is a Jewish graduate level school in London, England. And he was the librarian, and he wrote prolifically about religion. This book, The Myth Maker, Paul and the Invention of Christianity, is a must-read. A must-read. Mm. It shows the connections between Christianity and pagan idolatry. He points out, oh, by the way, the other one, where to go? I don't know what I do. Okay, at any rate. Many other books do the same thing, by the way. There's one, for example, called Pagan Christs. Pagan Christ by J.M. Robertson. That's number 23. We'll get to this in a minute. Okay, but the Mythmaker talks about how Paul is the one who really invented the Christianity that we know. That I don't know how good your history is, no. Okay, but the letters of Paul predate the Gospels. Right. Even though the Gospels in the Christian New Testament come first. Right. Okay, it's kind of like in the Hebrew Scriptures, Psalms are not next to, First Kings, okay, where it talks about David. If David wrote the Psalms, wouldn't you expect the order to be historical? And the answer is no, it's not. Right. So the epistles of Paul, written to the Christian communities in the Mediterranean area, usually in and around Greece, Italy, whatever, he shows how basically Paul is the one who is responsible for what we call Christianity rather than Jesus. You know, the religion Jesus believed in is called Judaism, but the religion about Jesus is called Christianity. Sure. Right. And he shows in this book how basically Paul creates the myth of Jesus. Okay. Excellent. Chaim Maccabee. Not sure, you know.
I can see it good. Yep. Very good.
Okay. All right. That's a 3D movie, you know. Okay. All right. Can we now move to the bibliography? Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to go back to the website?
Yeah. Okay, sure. Because those are the basic books that I've got on hand.
All right. Let me switch over here. Okay. 1 second. And we'll go back to What Jews Believe, bibliography. 1 second.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Another one. Exclusiveness and Tolerance by Jacob Katz. Studies in the Jewish-Gentile relations in medieval and modern times. Published by Behrman House.
Oh, yeah.
Some of these books are old. They're not young. I don't know if they're still in publication. But again and again, I will say this. Library loan is a very powerful means to obtain a book. And if you're a member of a library, they'll find the book in some other library and have it sent to the library you use.
Sure, even like half-price books, they'll actually mail it to you, actually, if you can find it there. It's a good resource.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, half-price books, if you want to go online and find any book that they've got of an old book, they'll actually, if you find it in their website, they'll actually mail it to you. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's an incredible resource, too.
A majority of my resources that I have, including something from the Dead Sea Scrolls,
came from that?
Actually, I bought a there was like 1,000 prints of the Dead Sea Scrolls of this one particular thing that I had gotten, and I had like copy number 997. I bought for $10. This book was like,
oh my god,
huge, and it's like there was only 1,000 books made, and I had like the actual copy 997. Bought it for $10 at Half Price Books. So,
okay, Thomas asks, what's the name of that website again?
Which website?
The Half Price Books website for you to be able to order books through?
It's just Half Price Books, probably.com, I'm guessing. You can just Google in the Google search bar for Half Price Books and you'll find it.
Right. Also, the website we're going to look at is my website, which is whatjewsbelieve.org.
Pulling back up
whatjewsbelieve.org.
You'll see it actually on the website tab at the top.
Okay.
What Jews Believe bibliography. So.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So.
What do you want me to do?
Okay, go to the very top.
Oh, very, very top. Okay, got it. Okay, so I've got the 9 questions people ask about Judaism.
Right. That's the first section, Basic Judaism. Second section is called Jewish Mission Control. And the third section is a response to missionaries.
Click on that. All right.
The Jewish Mission Control really is basically just a reference to my app, but let's not talk about that tonight.
Okay.
Okay. So starting out with basic Judaism, these are just simple, basic, what does Judaism believe and why kinds of books. The first one is probably the most often used book for Introduction to Judaism classes in synagogues and, all across the English-speaking world.
The 9 questions people ask about Judaism. The
Intelligent Skeptic's Guide. It's by radio talk show host Dennis Prager, and Rabbi Joseph Telushkin is an Orthodox rabbi. They literally grew up together, and they wrote this book. It was originally called The 8 Questions People Ask About Judaism.
Wow.
And, of course, they added a later one called The 9 Questions People Ask About Judaism, The Intelligent Skeptic's Guide. And it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Book number 2, which I already showed you, Judaism and Christianity, The Differences by Trudy Weiss Rosmarin. Okay, it's a comparative religion book, but through comparing, there's an old saying, William, that if you only know one religion, you don't know any.
Right.
That you'll really learn more about your own religion when you have to compare it and contrast it with another religion. You'll learn it far better than just taking for granted everything you ever heard.
Right, true.
Okay. The third book is called Why the Jews, The Reason for Anti-Semitism, also by Dennis Prager and Rabbi Joseph Telushkin.
Let me pull it back up.
The best thing about this book is the first chapter. Most people, when they study anti-Semitism, they study the anti-Semites. Okay, what makes them tick? Why did they turn against the Jews? What's their psychological craziness, hang up, whatever?
Right.
What Dennis Prager and Rabbi Joseph Telushkin did is that instead of looking at the anti-Semites, they look at Judaism and ask the question, what is it about Judaism that's going to piss people off?
Right. Got it.
And, if the whole raison d'etre of the Jewish people is to be a light to the nations, okay, what is that light that we're shining? What is, this light all about? Okay, and when that light says things like, thou shalt not murder, thou shalt not steal, and you see somebody murdering and stealing, you say, God isn't like that. It's not going to win friends and influence people.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's going to make people upset. And would you mind clicking on the title, Why the Jews, the Reason for Anti-Semitism, see if that...
Yep, comes right up. You're good.
Okay.
I'll put it back up.
So,
1 second.
all right. It shows you the book. All right.
Yep.
All right. And the first chapter alone is worth the entire book. It's brilliant.
Okay.
Okay. For those of you trying to understand how to do Judaism in the home,
Quick chat.
Blue-Green...
Quick chat. Jason Seuss, you tuned in late apparently because we've been talking about Rabbi Singer's books all night long.
Yeah.
So
but you're
you
right. They're great books.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Okay. So how to run a traditional Jewish household is exactly that. And it tells you step by step, koshering the house, keeping a kosher home, making the standard, typical, stereotypic Ashkenazic Friday night meal, how to make, challah recipe and, what is this? So we got Hanukkah coming up, how to do Judaism in the home. It's a hands-on, practical, how to do Judaism in a traditional Jewish home. Okay, and it is an excellent, excellent book. And still, click on it when you go to the website, and it'll take you right to the Amazon website. Okay.
Right.
Number 5 on the list. These are not in any particular order. They're just thrown up here. 2 books. The Book of Jewish Belief and the Book of Jewish Practice by Louis Jacobs. Okay, it's not a new book. These are both books that are not that new. They're actually children's books. The reason why they're here is because you go to the table of contents and you read about it, and it's for not young children, it's for older children, but for children nevertheless, and short, simple, to the point answers to your questions. Okay, number 6, To Pray as a Jew and To Be a Jew, 2 separate books by Donen. Let's see if that works.
Yep.
Yes, it does. Chaim Halevi Donen. Okay, A Guide to Jewish Observance in Contemporary Life. Okay, and the Book of Jewish Belief. I'm sorry, Sorry, wrong one.
The Guide to Jewish Religious Practice.
To Pray as a Jew and to Be a Jew.
Oh.
To Pray as a Jew is a guide to the prayer book in the holiday of the synagogue service. Excellent, excellent books showing you what we pray, what's the Siddur, the Jewish prayer book, what does it comprise, why does it do that, this kind of thing. All right. Book number 7, The Guide to Jewish Religious Practice, Rabbi Isaac Klein. Not exactly the most fascinating book you would ever read. Okay.
Right.
It's not going to sit there and explain every little detail. It reads almost kind of in a way, sort of like rabbinic code. Just here's the law, here's the law, here's the law, here's the law, here's the law. Okay. But virtually any question you got about how to do Judaism is going to be on that Guide to Jewish Religious Practice.
But isn't book number 8 the same way, though?
I'm sorry, what?
Jewish Literacy and Jewish, 2 books by Telushkin. One of them actually includes numerical order of the 613 commandments and mitzvot, right?
Yeah, it's the same Joseph Telushkin.
Right. Okay, got it.
Okay. All right. The 9 questions people ask about Judaism, book number 1, book number 3, and now we have book number 8. Are all 3 on this list?
Right.
By Joseph Telushkin.
Got it.
Jewish literacy is about that thick. Okay, it's a very thick book. And it's brilliant. Very short articles.
Lay off the hot sauce.
Yeah. No, I'm talking so fast I can't.
All right. Are you okay?
So, again, the best thing about it is you go to the table of contents. You don't have to read it cover to cover. You go to the table of contents, whatever interests you, whatever sparks your interest, go to that chapter and read.
Right.
Okay. But again, it's probably one of the most often cited books for bibliographies of Introduction to Judaism courses, college or synagogue, throughout the English-speaking world. Okay, 9. Harold Kushner is the same rabbi who wrote the books When Bad Things Happen to Good People, When All You've Ever Wanted Isn't Enough, he's got a brilliant book on just on the 23rd Psalm. At any rate, he wrote this book to life, which is an Introduction to Judaism book, and it's excellent, especially the last chapter, which is why you should be observant. And okay, my teacher, my professor, my friend Jacob Nusner, may he rest in peace. He just passed away in the last couple of years. Jews and Christians, the myth of a common tradition. Jews and Christians, the myth of a common tradition.
What book is that?
I'm sorry, what?
I found it. There it is.
Yeah, number 10.
Okay.
Is exactly that. He shows why the myth was created. By the way, he has a very small ebook. Jacob Nusner, by the way, in his lifetime, wrote more than 1,000 books.
Wow.
Yeah. Only about 700 or 800 are listed when you go to something like the Library of Congress. But he wrote or edited over 1,000 books. And he was my teacher. At any rate, Jews and Christians, the Myth of a Common Tradition by Jacob Nusner. I include the Encyclopedia Judaica here, but I'm not asking you to read the whole thing. But it literally is an encyclopedia. And anything you ever wanted to read about Judaism, even though they're pretty deep articles, they're not for easy reading. They're encyclopedia articles you'll find in this Encyclopedia Judaica. I think it's on CD, okay, which lowers the price, by quite a bit. People ask, what's the best Bible? Koran Bibles, what I'll tell them about. Okay, Jewish Holidays, a guide and commentary. Michael Strassfeld is one of the authors of a series of books called wait a minute.
By the way, as you were mentioning the other book, L'chaim. So I was thinking, to life, L'chaim. Right.
Right. That's yes.
That's one of my favorite movies. Okay. Just buying you spare time.
Okay. It's called the Jewish Catalog.
Okay.
Books 1, 2, and 3. The Jewish Catalog, book 1, 2, and 3. It was written probably in the 70s. The first one was probably written in the 70s, maybe as early as the early 80s, but I doubt it. And basically, a result of the 60s. My analysis of it is, okay, fine. You want to be a hippie? That's great, but at least be a hippie Jewishly. So, for example, instead of learning macrame, knot tying, how to tie knots into beautiful, things.
Yep.
He shows you how to tie tzitzit. Okay,
Nice.
The fringes on the four corners of your garment. Okay, well, he wrote this book called Jewish Holidays, a Guide and Commentary. So these 13 books are a reasonably good introduction to Judaism if you want to learn basic Judaism. Okay, now, some of these books I've already shown you, so we're going to go through these next 40 books real quick. Okay. The Jew and the Christian Missionary, A Jewish Response to Missionary Christianity, that was this one. The one I showed you like this. Okay?
Right.
Oops. Like that. Okay. Again, it's been replaced, you'll see it further down, by this book. Notice how much thicker it is.
Hold it back up again.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
All right.
Very good.
Again, like many, many books on the topic, the first 2/3 is going to be basically the Christian misrepresentation of the Hebrew Scriptures and why it's a misrepresentation. And the last third of the book is going to be an analysis of the New Testament, a criticism of the New Testament, how it contrasts with the Bible, and how it internally to itself contradicts each other.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. All right. We also talked about The Real Messiah, okay, by R.E.A. Kaplan. And again, that book in its entirety is in the R.E.A. Kaplan Anthology, book number 1.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So we don't have to talk about that. We also talked about number 4, Judaism and Christianity, the differences. That was what this one was. Okay. Okay. The Myth of the Judeo-Christian Tradition by Arthur A. Cohen. Arthur A. Cohen, again, came to my university and taught, and therefore I call him one of my professors too. But the Myth of the Judeo-Christian Tradition is not at all easy reading. Each paragraph you're going to have to really concentrate on to understand what he's saying. He's very intellectual and very, brilliant writer. The one we already talked about in the beginning, Jews and Christians, The Myth of a Common Tradition. All these are excellent books. Okay, When Prophecy Fails, number 7. Again, if you click on the title, they will take you to the Amazon where you can, see the book, and if you're interested, buy it. Okay, When Prophecy Fails is a sociological study of religious groups around the country and through the ages that believed that they had a prophecy given to them by God, and how they responded when the prophecy did not come to pass. And it's brilliant and fascinating. You may have heard the term cognitive dissonance.
Yep.
The term cognitive dissonance was invented by this group of sociologists, and Leon Festinger is the editor of this book. And I think it was the University of Wisconsin or University of Minnesota. I can't remember which one. But it was the sociology department whose students would basically infiltrate these religious organizations. They would go into the bathroom and write their notes that they were taking on toilet paper, stuff the toilet paper into their pants, and then when they would get back home, type it up, and go back the next day. And it's a sociological study about the psychological dynamic of groups who believed that they had a revelation and how they responded when the revelation did not come to pass. When Prophecy Fails, Leon Festinger. Okay, my teacher, Michael J. Cook, Modern Jews Engage the New Testament, Enhancing Jewish Well-Being in a Christian Environment. I know I have that here, but I don't know what I did with it. Okay, like most of my books, I may have lent it out. That's too bad. So, at any rate, whatever. And he has a theory. He is a professor, a PhD, and he's a rabbi. And he has his analysis of how and why the New Testament was written the way it was written. So he'll take a section and he will analyze it and asking the questions, why is this here? Why was this written the way it was written? Why doesn't it agree with the same version of the version of the same story written in another one of the Gospels? You know, how did it develop within Christianity? And you can see it going from Mark to Matthew to Luke to John. And it's excellent. And if you want to understand how and why the New Testament was written. Okay, I also showed you number 9, where to go, The Myth Maker, Paul and the Invention of Christianity. We've already talked about that. We talked about Gospel Fictions by Randall Helms. Okay, now we get into an area. William, you know how the Christians, in order to missionize the Jewish people, will put up videos, put up interviews, write books that show, you know, Jews who've converted to Christianity?
Oh, don't get me started.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, yes, for sure.
Here now are people who went the other direction. Okay? Book 11, Avraham ben Avraham, okay, is a book about a guy who flirted with Christianity and came back to it. Selig Sachnowitz, Feldheim, publishers. And let's see if that is still, yes it is, still in existence. Good, cool. Okay. Click on the titles, the all capital letters, and if the website is still there on Amazon, it'll take you right there. 12, Beware of Soul Snatchers, How Jews Can Save Themselves from Missionary Assault, Aaron Schwartzbaum and Susanna Spiro. Okay, and again, okay, it takes you to a website where it talks about the book and tells you how to order the book. Okay, Escape from Jesus, One Man's Search for a Meaningful Judaism, Shlomo Sherman, written in 1983 and republished in 86. Okay, again, let's see if that, okay, that works. Still around. Okay, Hawking God, A Young Jewish Woman's Ordeal in Jews for Jesus. Ellen Kamensky used to be a worker for Jews for Jesus. And Hawking God is her story, her autobiography. Okay, book 15, Jews for Nothing. Basically, book pages 21 to 71 discuss the phenomena of Jews for Jesus. Dov Aharoni Fish, 1984. His thesis is that it's not Jews for Jesus who is the problem with Judaism. Is not the biggest threat to Judaism. The biggest threat for Judaism isn't Jews for Jesus, it's Jews for nothing. You know, Jews who are ignorant, who don't know anything about their faith, their religion. And it's really well done. Okay. Judaism Online, Confronting Spirituality on the Internet. Shoshana Zakar and David Coffman. They worked for Jews for Judaism, I think Los Angeles, but I'm not sure which Jews for Judaism office. And it's their experience, their autobiographical experience of how in the earliest days of the Internet, they were fighting for, you know, Judaism. Okay, Beth Moshe, 1997, already a 22-year-old, almost 22-year-old book. Judaism's Truth Answering the Mission. Judaism's Truth Answers the Missionaries. Okay, now we get some very interesting books with 18, 19, 20. Okay, 18, Ordained to be a Jew, a Catholic Priest's Conversion to Judaism by John David Scalamonti. He actually spoke here in Houston. He was brought here by one of the Orthodox synagogues to speak. And he talks about how he was a Catholic priest and started asking questions and finding the best answers to his religious questions, his spiritual questions in Judaism, and how he converted. Okay, 19. To Play with Fire, One Woman's Remarkable Odyssey.
Okay.
Tova Moreh.
Okay, that book is amazing. Okay,
it is amazing. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so To Play with Fire is a book my wife read, and she has persisted in telling me how awesome the book is by telling me all these different story snippets that are in it, and it's a really great book. It's a fantastic testimony of how ancient Christianity.
I just clicked on it, so it doesn't. Maybe there's another.
It's a great book. If you can find it, get it. It's a great book. Now, Rabbi, just for the quick reference point, it's 106.43 and counting.
An hour and 6 minutes.
Yeah, and you're not even halfway through your list yet.
And we're not halfway through. But here's 3 or 4 books in this area of the bibliography.
Give me your Big Bang books.
All about people who left Christianity and converted to Judaism. So when they start telling you, oh, look at all these people who converted from Judaism to Christianity, conversions mean nothing because people go both directions.
Right, true.
And there are plenty of, go to the YouTube and just type in conversion to Judaism, and you'll come up with 100 different videos of people who converted from Christianity to Judaism, and if they email you, videos of people who went one way, you can show them people who went the other way too.
Okay, so there's a really interesting. It's not interesting. It's actually more humorous for me. Okay, so there's a guy who was there's like, I don't know, 500,000 views on this guy who claims to have been from a Jewish. He presents himself as an Orthodox Jew, right?
Of course they do, because
what was the guy's? You know who I'm talking about, right? I can't.
Oh, there could be 1,000 people who fit the description.
There's a particular guy. Oh, man, I used to have his name in my mind. Thank God I forgot it. So, but anyway, the point being, he said the really crazy thing about it was, he's like, these Orthodox Jews, they come to you and they tell you you've got to wear these things, you got to have your beards, whatever. And he starts listing all these things, and he goes, but me, he goes, I came to know the truth of the scriptures through Isaiah 53. And I'm thinking, okay,
yeah, right.
Okay, so of all the things that you could have chosen, you chose the dumbest one of all. That only tells me that you were not raised in a biblical home. You were raised in a secular Jewish home who knew nothing about Torah or the prophets whatsoever.
William, let me tell you something. In my much more energetic days, okay, when I was, younger and whatever, I would read these autobiographies and I would see these videos of people who claimed to be an Orthodox Jew. They have to claim they're Orthodox, because if they claim they were secular, it's not as great a win for the Christians to get a secular Jew to become a Christian. It's a greater win if it's an Orthodox, knowledgeable Jew who becomes a Christian.
Mattel Ballaston. I'm telling you, all the people who have studied their way out of Christianity, look for Mattel, Motel Ballaston on YouTube. Listen to it. Model?
Yeah, Mattel
Ballaston. Okay, so you I guarantee if you know anything about the prophets, you won't make it past the first 5 minutes without actually without cracking up. Because the thing about it is, they target people who are ignorant of the scriptures. That's who they're targeting. You guys are not. You're that's why you're here. That's why you're watching our show tonight, because you are not ignorant of the scriptures. You've studied this thing and you've made your way out. So, okay, real quickly, Shmuel mentioned.
William, let me tell you something. Okay. Every time they say, I was raised in an Orthodox synagogue, if they even give the city they were raised in, I will call up every Orthodox congregation in that city and ask them, did you have a family member named whatever the person's name was? And 9 times out of 10 more,
it's not there.
They'll say, I'm sorry, we have no record of someone that name ever belonging to our synagogue.
Right.
Not as an adult, not as a child. In other words, they lie.
Yep.
Okay, what were you going to say?
Okay, so real quickly, the disputation was brought up by Shmuel. That
brilliant movie. You can get that from the Outreach Judaism website. You can download the video, or at least have Tovia send it to you.
Yep.
It's actually with movie stars playing the parts.
Yeah.
It's not just some random thing. And the disputation is about the disputation in Spain. In Barcelona, between Rabbi Nachmanides, much more of a mystic than Maimonides, but very well known. Ramban, not Rambam, but Ramban.
Rabbi Moshe ben Maimon. No, that would be Rambam.
Yes, this is Nachmanides.
Oh, okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay, and Pablo Cristiani was a Jew who converted to Catholicism, because in those days that was the only kind of Christianity there was, at least in the Western, hemisphere. I'm sorry, in Western Europe, and it's a debate between Nachmanides and Pablo Cristiani, and this is where you get one of the first references by one of these ex-Jews who's now a Christian to Talmudic passages, which they claim is really all about Jesus.
Rabbi Moshe ben Nachman.
Right, Nachmanides. Okay,
very good.
And basically he rips that to shreds. Okay, and if you watch the video, I'm not sure, I'll have to look it up real quick, but I think the video, the disputation, was actually written by Joseph Telushkin.
Seriously, I did not know that. That's cool. Nice.
The disputation.
Hey, keep talking. Somebody pulled up out front. I need to make sure it's not a late delivery. Keep talking. I'll be right back.
All right. Okay. Now, 1986. Okay. It stars Christopher Lee, and you'd recognize some of the other people who are in the show. Let's see. All right. Yeah, I'm sorry. I got to think about what I'm saying before I say it. I said I thought it was by Joseph Telushkin. It was by Chaim Maccabee. Remember I showed you The Mythmaker?
Yep.
Okay. The movie was written by Chaim Maccabee, the chief librarian of Leo Beck College in London. I was close. I knew it was somebody that I'd already mentioned tonight.
Nice.
And he wrote the screenplay.
Nice. Just a word to the wise. Arnold Schwarzenegger said, "I'll be back," and he actually came back. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Glad you're back.
Okay, so next week.
By the way, if you turned around, okay, and faced away from the camera, we could say, "Glad to see you're back." Glad to see you're back.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right.
All right, good deal. Well, it's been fun, man. This has been a great show. I did not think.
And for every book that I list on my website, there's 100 books that are still out there waiting to be discovered.
Okay, so you don't need a show for that, guys. Just go to whatjewsbelieve.org and look for the bibliography.
Right. It's on the far right at the bottom.
There's a full list of all the books you will have interest in. Well, not a full list, but at least a beginner's list of the books that you would actually.
Go to the whatjewsbelieve.org website, go to the home page, and go to the bottom right in the blue, and you'll see bibliography. Click there, and it'll give you all the books we've talked about and more.
Right on. Okay, so apparently it looks like Chaim Potok wrote The Chosen. I actually saw the movie The Chosen. That was a great movie with Robbie
Benson.
Yes. That was a great movie. Yeah. Was that the
same? I can't think of his name.
That's the only name I know. I just remember Robbie Benson.
No. The Chosen. The guy who plays the Hasidic rabbi. Minute. This is bothering the heck out of me. Maximilian Schell.
Got it. Cool.
And Maximilian Schell, Rod Steiger, Robbie Benson. Okay, this was a major film because Chaim Potok's novel, The Chosen, was an extremely popular book.
Dracula.
And it's about two Orthodox families. One is Hasidic Orthodox. The other one is more modern Orthodox. So it's a brilliant book.
Right. Awesome. Okay, so time is way past due. It's 9:30. We've got
much longer than we usually have for our shows.
It's not terrible. It's only an hour and 50 minutes. It feels like 2 hours because this time just goes on and on with those guys. So, hey, I love it. I'm not complaining. I totally enjoy your time as much as I can get here. Hopefully, you'll be coming here in the studio soon.
Yes, I hope so too.
Green effects down here at the bottom. That's because I'm blocking the light from the camera. Check this out. Watch. Wow. Okay, cool. The finger dance. The all infamous finger dance. Yeah. Okay, take care, guys. Subscribe to the website. Like the video before you hang up. Can you hang up on a video? I don't know. Like the video. I keep seeing people say and do the thumbs up thing. Shalom, everybody. Shalom, Martha, Sandra, Elisheva, Shmuel, Michael Martin, Thomas Schaus, all the Missouri Reaper. Where have you been? That's okay. We'll see you guys next week, same time, same place. Like the video, share with your friends. Let's keep this thing going. So we'll see you guys soon. Rabbi, love you, man. You are a great tzaddik. Look for you next week. Shalom, shalom.
השאיפה